I'd like to call this October 21st work session of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission to order. Roll call, please. Somebody?
Here.
Owen Cross here.
Is Kelly not coming to the meeting, Brian?
No, Brittany's here to take notes.
Okay.
Paul Seymour, present. Senior.
Cross, Senior President.
Randy Abner's present.
Mel Davis, present.
City
Let
attorney
it be noted,
present.
there's a quorum.
The attorney present.
Yep.
Kevin Schaefer is out, as expected.
First order of business is the adjustment to the contract with Mr. Rizzo.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. In section 4.01, Dale, do you have this handy? Huh?
No, I
Like
don't.
section 4.01, it's, I'm sorry. Yeah, section 4.01, second paragraph. This is in discussion about the invoices. The statement in the contract says that these invoices shall be approved by LRC. And when we discussed this, our intention was that Kelly and I would approve and submit those claims as received, and they would go through the normal claims process as we have always done historically. In this particular case, Richard was concerned that since it specifically defined LRC, that those claims would have to wait for a redevelopment commission meeting. So what we are asking for, both parties, is to agree to amend the contract to allow Kelly and I to review, approve, verify the work, submit the claims, and they would go through the normal claim process, just like all of our other projects.
And if there's a question, you'll bring it back to our attention, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't
Right.
approve it, we won't submit it.
We'll bring it back to us.
Yeah.
Lois. Okay.
But that's not any different than any of our other projects. The only difference is, when we drafted the contract, it can be interpreted as that you have to approve the claims. And that, so that's what we're asking. Again,
I'm looking
it's
for a
no
motion
different than any
to
other project
approve
we've done.
approve the adjustment to the Rizzo contract.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I would like to ask Mr. Stroud to come forward, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am coming in here tonight. It's been 7 days. Redevelopment and council has had my contract, all my proposal revisions. It's been 7 days. Thought we were going to have this thing signed in 7 days. I have not seen a signed copy. So I'm wondering, I do have a copy, wondering if we can get that taken care of today, since there apparently isn't any opposition from council.
Brian, do you have a copy of it?
I have a copy that I was given last week, yes.
Okay.
And I understand that's still the same. No
Yeah.
changes have been made.
Yep.
The only,
I know.
the only
thing-
change was it, on there, it said, for the money, it said fix
Oh,
instead
yeah,
of
I've got that
five.
scratched out for 5.
Kelly
I agree
pulled
with
that
that.
out for me, but other than that, there's no other changes.
Okay.
Yeah, so just so everybody's aware that on page 1, it talks about the 635,005 is spelled wrong, so that would have to be corrected. That's what Tony's referring to, and Mr.
Yep.
Stroud is referring to. That being said,
Everything is what we voted on?
as I understand it, yes.
Okay. And we gave you authorization to sign it at the last meeting.
Yes, you did, and I said that I would sign it after council's had a chance to review it, and when I get the authority to sign it.
Did you review it?
No.
Did
haven't
Zach
seen-
review it?
We haven't seen any of the changes, and Mr. Stroud has an attorney that we have to talk to before we
Well,
can approve anything.
I talked to Mr. Stroud today, and he said that his attorney had sent the red line copy to you. You were supposed to make some more red lines, and you sent him a copy, but there were no red lines in it, so he assumed that it was fine.
And also, we did submit all the red line changes to Zach last 7 days ago, along with a copy of the clean contract, all the exhibits and everything here.
So, anyway, 7 days are up. So, Mr. Messmore, would you go ahead and sign the contract for Tony so we can get started?
Well, no one has read the contract.
Yes, we have.
No, not the one we got last week.
Yes, we have. Zach had 7 days, your firm had 7 days to read it.
Okay, no.
So, let's get it signed and let him get started. He's been coming here for a year or more. You know, I heard a commercial today on my way to this meeting. It was on WLW, and it was talking about how friendly we are to developers in Lawrenceburg. And that made me think of Tony. And I'm thinking, if developers saw what he has gone through, I know nobody'd show up. So, Brian, go ahead and sign that so this man can get started on those buildings.
Well, I feel a little bit awkward here. My counsel
Well,
has
bring it
advised
up
me
here and I'll sign it.
that I shouldn't
okay.
sign it.
Well,
And I'll have every member sign it. Del, you had a week. This guy's been here for over a year, and we've done nothing but mess around with that agreement.
that's not true at all.
Yes, it is true.
No, it isn't, though.
How long has he been coming, Randy?
Good while.
No, you haven't read that agreement.
Yes,
So
I
you're
have.
voting to approve something you haven't
We read it. We
That's
read
not-
it at the last meeting.
That's not true.
It is true. Don't tell me I'm fibbing. I sat right here and read the darn thing.
Well, what are we agreeing to?
We're agreeing to pay him in 3 payments. Okay? He gets one up front, he gets another one when he's finished with the steel, and he gets another one when he gets the CO. And we're also agreeing to give him the buildings.
Okay.
All right. So, that's the basis of the agreement.
Those are the basic parts of the agreement.
That's
There are a
all
lot
we
of
need.
details. That's not true. We need a detailed contract to protect ourselves.
Read that contract. You had 7 days to read it. If you can't read it, we'll give you 10 minutes to read it through it. So, we're here to sign the agreement. It's been, the 7 days are up. We agreed on 7 days last meeting. Everybody voted for that. This board voted for it. This board voted for that contract. So let's get it done. So, Mr. Messmore, if you would please sign that contract.
I don't mean to put you in a bad spot, I just can't keep doing this.
Is there a time frame when he'll be done?
December, I will have the CO on both of the lower units, December of 2020.
Yeah.
Weather permitting. We don't even think now with the weather and the state approval, we've already sent to Indiana Landmarks, we've already got engineered drawings, we're already working through all that, but, you know, it's gonna take some time, it's a huge project.
Okay. So what's your contribution to this project?
I'm gonna be in about $2 million, you guys are putting 635, so I'm gonna be in around $1,400,000, $1,500,000. And if you break the numbers down on resale of the condos, it's about a break-even deal for me. I am doing this, and I've told everybody else, it's gonna be a landmark building that I am gonna lease other space and build from. It's the only reason I'm doing this.
And what guarantees do we have?
There's guarantees, there's a defeasibility clause.
There's guarantees in the contract. If he doesn't meet his benchmarks, we get the building back with the improvements.
What benchmarks were you talking about?
I just explained that to Dell. He gets, I think it's 200 and something up front. And then when he gets the steel in, he gets another chunk of money. When he
Actually,
gets the
Hey,
CO.
we've actually altered that. Where I don't get any money, you're setting up a construction agreement now.
Okay.
Because that was a big opposition before, nobody wanted to turn any money. So I just turned the bills into Brian and so I'm not getting anything.
Not getting anything?
I'm not getting any money, I'm coming in and coming to
All
work,
goes to the city.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's half of the 635 toward the construction, the upfront construction.
That way we get control.
Mr. Stroud makes his contribution, I think it was
Throughout, basically throughout, and then once I get CO on the first,
You get
the
the
lower
balance.
two, then I get the balance.
Okay.
So I'm basically, we're working together to get this done. And I do feel like there's been some opposition, and honestly, if I would have known this in the whole process, if someone would have just come to me and said, look, we don't want you to build this building for whatever reason, just tell me, I wouldn't waste time. I've been coming in here for 17 months.
17 months.
17 months.
I thought it
So
was a year and a half.
my initial talks were 17 months ago. So I do feel like I've persevered. I want to get this done. We have a lot of interest. If somebody has a problem with either me or the development, just let me know, because it's not too late. But I feel like I've been pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And I don't like to come in and do this. I want to work with you guys. This is not the only project I want to do. I want to keep doing this. And if anybody out there can break these numbers down and look at what I'm saying this is going to cost and what I'm actually going to get out of the building, it's not lucrative. It's not like I'm walking away with a ton of money. I'm building some space so we can spur some development.
Here's the redevelopment's goal or mission or whatever the heck you want to call it, is to redevelop the downtown into usable space, whether it's for retail, commercial, or apartments. You're the only person in the world that, strange enough,
You're correct.
take on these buildings. Otherwise, they're gonna fall down.
You are exactly right.
So let's get started before they fall down onto the park that we just built
I agree.
and get the thing done. And I give Mr. Rizzo's group credit for starting on the fire station.
Yeah.
That
He's
was-
one of the main reasons why I pushed so hard, because he's opening a restaurant. I want to have a restaurant open. We'd like to do other things in the town. You know, we live close.
Deteriorating as we watched.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and get this started. And we gave 7 days at the last meeting.
That's
It
correct.
was 7 days ago tonight.
That's correct.
So the contract is supposed to have been signed within 7 days.
Correct.
So let's get going.
I'm fine with that.
Somebody signed the contract.
Well, I can, my position is we should absolutely not sign the contract.
Well-
Mr. Davis,
Go
can I
ahead.
just have a second?
Go ahead. You had 7 days, Dale.
Okay, well, 7 days ago, it's my understanding that a printed out contract was brought to the meeting and handed to Zach Anderson.
Correct.
Nothing was emailed to me, your attorney wasn't here, your attorney hasn't communicated with me at all. So we have not had the opportunity to look at, we don't even know what changes were made because it was a printed contract.
Printed contract and revisions. Your revisions and ours. Everything was in there. And if you're telling me that your counterpart didn't get you, then that's a problem in your own office, not in mine. We have done this, you and I have done this back and forth. And I'm telling you right now, I got competent real estate attorneys that could have had this contract wrapped up in 4 hours. And you're telling me you can't get it done in 7 days?
Why is your attorney not here?
Why do I need to bring him here? I have paid him for revisions since May.
Would you make a copy for Mr. Stroud?
Since
so he
May.
can take it with him?
We can't sign a contract that legal hasn't reviewed.
Well, legal had all the time in the world to review it. Legal's had 17 months to review every word in every contract he submitted.
That's not
It's
true. That's
time
not
to
what's
move
happening.
on. Now, let's get going. Otherwise, that commercial that I heard on the radio is not true.
As long as it's on the record that I'm saying not to sign it, and
That's
that
fine.
we have not had the chance to review the contract, and it's a bad idea,
That's being recorded,
then
so
I
that's
can't,
fine.
I can't stop you from voting.
Right. So,
And it wasn't on the agenda for the work session today either.
it was, is there any opposition to having Mr. Messmore sign the contract?
Already voted
Paul?
on it, haven't you not?
Yeah, we did.
Well, then you don't need to vote.
Yeah. So if you'd make a copy and give it to Mr. Stroud, appreciate it.
It is. You want me to sign?
Yeah, and I just, you know, while this is happening, I'll just say that it's, when you know you're trying to do the right thing and you wanna do these things and you wanna promote things downtown, that sometimes, you know, when you get into these contracts and making sure that the city's protected on all sides is a little more difficult than it may seem at, you know, in some cases, but that's what, you know, our biggest concern is, making sure that in the event, we don't want there to be any failure, but that's what drives the concern and the review and the just double checking and gut checking to make sure that we're protecting the city's investment.
All right.
Is this how we wanna do business? Just show up at a meeting and sign a contract that we haven't?
This is
looked
not
at?
how I want to do business at all.
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
I can tell you how I want to do business. I can tell you exactly how I want to do business. I don't want to come to a redevelopment meeting and see a man wanting a building and you guys knowing that it took over a year to get a contract done and you feeling like, hey, I want to turn this guy away because we've been a year. I understand you and I agree with your theory. I agree 100%. But here's the truth. If we can't get a lawyer to act in a timely manner, then we need to get another lawyer. Now, this guy works for you. You guys elected to do him. Your redevelopment, you're separate from council. Mr. Messmore, I don't know who has to sign this, but you don't need the lawyer's permission to sign it. And if it doesn't get done in a timely manner, get it done.
It's been signed. Mr. Stroud signed it. Brian's gonna make a copy for Mr. Stroud. Is there any other business to come before this commission?
Thank you.
If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks.